The Lighthouse is Robert Eggers' second movie. The success of The Witch gave Robert Eggers a lot of backing when it came to making his second film. This is in terms of putting his name out there, with big actors now approaching him, asking if there's any roles available for them to be a part of. The Lighthouse is set in the 1890s, following two lighthouse keepers working in the middle of nowhere on a small island isolated from the outside world, with them having to deal with each other, their own personal history, with nowhere else to go. The whole movie was shot in black and white on 35mm film, combining old and new camera equipment. Yaron Blansky returns as a cinematographer on this movie. The Witch cinematography was supposed to be understated, whereas for this film, it was supposed to be more front and center to actually feel like a movie.
The Lighthouse, we were trying to be like, this is a movie. Yeah, that's right. The camera's going all the way up the lighthouse tower, like in a very showy way, but this movie's over the top and weird, so like, that's fine.
A lot of this was shot at Camp Forshue in Nova Scotia. It was the ideal location, but they had to build every building you see in this film from scratch, including a 70-foot lighthouse that fit the aesthetic needs of the movie. Robert Eggers has stated that all of this came together to help create the vision he wanted. He's known for his appreciation of being as historically accurate as he can be with his projects. This goes for the buildings, overall set design, and even the clothing the characters wear. He could have chosen to do all this on a set in some studio in LA, but he opted for a more realistic approach, shooting in the harsh weather conditions and on-set locations to make it look as real as it could. Matt Corvin returns to score this film as he did on The Witch, once again opting for a more horror sound rather than going for anything melodic, more so to add to the craziness that you're seeing on screen. I think the closed-in aspect ratio, and with it being shot in black and white, sort of encapsulates the feeling of this film. The isolation, the set design, paired with the crazy performances from both leads, just constantly keeps your attention. And I will say, this movie is actually funny. I definitely didn't expect it to be. There are so many lines you could quote from this movie that just make me laugh. It's all done in a tasteful way that fits into the movie though. It's nothing out of place that's going to break your immersion from it or anything. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are the ones to carry this movie on screen. There were rumours that shooting started to get tense between the two actors, even when the cameras were not rolling. But not in an unpleasant way. More so of having different approaches as actors that maybe clashed. With Willem Dafoe coming from a more theatre background, likes to rehearse and go for it. Robert Pattinson is more of the opposite and wants to just do it when the cameras are rolling. I guess to try and get something more unexpected rather than rehearsed. All that was on top of the working conditions and numerous filming delays that the weather caused. Robert Eggers has spoke about this in interviews, but he said all in all, it was a benefit to the movie, and in the end it resulted in great performances from both actors. In my opinion, I would say this is some of the best work they've done from both of their careers.
I like Willem very much.
Like his previous film, I would say there are various interpretations you can have with this. From old folktales to Lovecraftian elements woven throughout, it leads to more questions than any real answers. You can really do a deep dive on various theories, but there's no conclusive answer as far as I'm aware, which again is something I liked about The Witch, and this is even more open-ended. This might be my favourite Robert Eggers film, I'm still not sure, but for me it's got a lot of rewatch value. With its performances, horror elements, and also just how funny parts of the movie are, it makes it worth revisiting even after the first time you've seen it.
Come on, you like the what do here? How we got to the wood last year?